My name's Jason Schuster. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I own Intricate Art Spine and Body Solutions. It's a continuing education company teaching other doctors how to do a couple things. Before that, I was a fly fishing guide in Patagonia, Chile, and southwestern Alaska for a decade. This is a clip from our online Dry Needling 2 class, Dry Needling to Improve Men's and Women's Pelvic Health. This is a great class. Check it out on our website, intricateartseminars.com, to get the full 10 CEU fully online class. This is a really neat treatment, you guys. So posterior tibial nerve stimulation, PTNS. So I've included one 2017 study in here, which is a good one, you guys. And then I included one, I think it's from 2024 or 2025. We're going to see it in a second. And they both say more or less the same thing. So just to kind of sum up the difference between the two studies that we're going to talk about. So first, we're going to talk about this 2017 study. So in this study, they were looking at brain fMRIs with this needling treatment to see, okay, when you do this needling treatment, which is a treatment in the ankle and the foot, which we'll talk about, they're looking at a couple of parts in the brains, but one of the specific areas at the fMRI where they're looking is called the PMC, the pontine micturition center, in the pons in the brain. So that's one of the primary urinary control centers where they can see unusual neurophysiology with people with incontinence. So there's typically hypoxia in that part of the brain. There's abnormal neuronal firings. It's just like there's a little concussion in that part of the brain, you guys. So PTNS alters the signals involved in the voiding reflex via the autonomic nervous system because, like we mentioned, when the sympathetic autonomic nervous system gets too hyperactive, the most inhibited structures in the body are the most parasympathetic structures, and those just happen to be some of the muscles in the pelvic floor, including the detrusor muscle, you guys, which is around the bladder, right? So another thing that they can look at and that has been talked about as far as posterior tibial nerve stimulation, you guys, is they look at parts of the trigeminocervical complex. So that is a part that's incorporated with the trigeminal nerve and the jaw. And it's really the trigeminal nerve on the brain side, but you can really activate and decrease sympathetic hyperactivity of the trigeminocervical complex by needling up in here in the jaw and the upper cervical area. But they've shown similar effects on the trigeminocervical complex in the brain by doing this PTNS treatment in the feet, right? So this is another great example of why you should always treat as much of the body as you can each time you treat people, because we really don't have a good understanding of like how all this stuff works. But with studies like this, like we can see it clearly that if you're trying to treat the brain, you'd want to think that like needling up here would be better because it's like closer to the brain. These nerves are coming out of the brain. It's closer. It makes logical sense. However, and this is totally like an acupuncture thinking way of thinking about it, or the way that acupuncturists think about it, is like using distal parts to control proximal areas or to control the brain, and it works extremely well, right? So if we're trying to regulate the autonomic nervous system with needles, needling around nerves should be one of the stimuli that is allowing us to change the brain, right? So we do have lots of nerves in our feet and our hands. So who knows, maybe it's just like the amount of nerves that are there. Maybe there are some certain meridian paths that I don't think the acupuncture meridians are how they think they are, but that we do have energy lines flowing throughout our body. So there's a whole bunch of things that it could be, but the bottom line is, and the most important thing for us right now, you guys, to help our patients right now, is we know that these treatment, we know the cause and the overall effect, right? So the cause or the treatment would be needling, and then the effect would be a massive decrease or total remittance of incontinence, and we can see the changes happening in the brain. So we do the treatment, we can see the brain changes, and then we can see the outcome. Exactly how all that stuff is working, we don't understand, but the important thing is that it's safe and it's super duper effective. All right, so this was another study, you guys. So this is from a 2009 randomized control trial, and this is the way that this study's outcomes were, and this is a good one because it's an RTC, so randomized control trial. So that is the better trials that we have. So this one was 100 adults randomized into 2 groups. So one group got a medicine called toltrodine. So toltrodine, you guys, is a muscle relaxer. The most common medications that they give for, or one of the most types of medications that they give, most common medications that they give for urinary incontinence are muscle relaxers to relax the detrusor muscle, specifically around the bladder, right? So remember, the sympathetics contract muscles, parasympathetics relax muscles. So muscle relaxers are activating the parasympathetic side of the nervous system or depressing the sympathetic side of the nervous system. Same thing, right? So the needling group, they did 12 weeks of treatment 1 time a week. The needling group outcomes was 79.5% of the group reported full resolution or significant improvement, and the medication group 54.8 or 55% of the group reported full resolution or significant improvement. So again, toltrodine is an antispasmodic muscle. So if that's the way that toltrodine is working, it should be that dry needling, at least in part, is also working on the detrusor muscle. Although we're obviously not needling the detrusor muscle itself, you guys, right? Because we can't do that safely unless you had some pretty fancy imaging things going on. However, we do know that needling causes parasympathetic dominance compared to baseline, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to depress sympathetics, elevate parasympathetics. So it's not that big of a leap to assume that, yeah, needling through altering the nervous system is relaxing that detrusor muscle, which leads to a stopping of incontinence in the vast majority of cases. Again, you guys, unless there's a structural underlying problem, I'm very, very confident that I can fix the vast majority of incontinence cases in not that many treatments, right? So this treatment, you guys, this is one of the needling treatments that has been like relatively well studied as far as randomized controlled trials in peer-reviewed literature, and it's still not a mainstream treatment. So it's very frustrating. This is way more effective than medications that we're currently using. You can actually fix the problem rather than just keeping people with incontinence for life and just keep giving them medications. You can actually fix the problem. So this should be a mainstream treatment. Patients are shocked, you guys, at how fast they get better with this stuff, and they actually get kind of pissed off sometimes. They're like, are you kidding me? That's all that I needed to do, and I've been dealing with this crap for 30 years or whatever. And it's just because in mainstream medicine, people are not taught to think about what is the actual underlying problem. They think about it like, this person has incontinence, let's treat the incontinence itself. It's like that is not the way that it should be done. It should be, okay, why does this person have incontinence? Let's treat the reason that it's happening, and then the incontinence should go away. And it does. So this includes, you guys, women that have just had babies recently. Incontinence is not normal after you've had a child. Like, it may be for like a very, very short period of time, but an extended period of time, absolutely not normal, although it's considered normal. So if you understand how these things work, you can help a huge amount of people, and it's really, really awesome. This is my favorite type of treatment to do for people, you guys. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you like this clip, keep an eye on my channel. I'm going to keep putting clips from both of our online dry needling classes. This was a clip from our online dry needling 2 class, Dry Needling to Improve Men's and Women's Pelvic Health. Check it out on our website, intricateartseminars.com, or check out our school channel, school.com/CEU, SKOOL.com/CEU, to get a big discount on our dry needling bundle. It's a bundle of both of our online dry needling classes for a big discount.